Let me fit the narrative that, he said what did he say a few weeks ago or a few months ago? It was like, Ukraine is the enemy of the world. Ukraine is our number one enemy. He said something to that effect. And would you look at that? He was unwittingly taking money from Russia. And now it's soon thereafter, you're still going right back to these talking points. And again, this is just totally made up.
Tim Pool is at it again after this big story leaked a couple of weeks ago about Tim Pool and other MAGA right-wingers like Benny Johnson and Dave Rubin having received money from Russia to make videos spreading Russian propaganda. It looks like Tim Pool is right back at it. You'd think he would have learned from the trouble he got in just recently, but no. Kyle Kulinski broke all this down. We're going to take a look at clips of what Tim Pool had to say. We're going to see Kyle Kulinski's breakdown of it. I'll share my thoughts as well. This is all very interesting. Let's check it out.
Now, you would think that if there was just a giant scandal involving you taking money from Russia, you would think you'd be a little careful to try to make sure that there's zero indication that you're ideologically captured, right? Or they're paying for a specific kind of content that is pro them and anti their enemy. You would think that this would be the first thing on your mind. Right at the front of your mind is like, all right, I got to be a little careful here to not look like I'm riding Russia's meat, because it just came out that I thought I was taking money from a shady billionaire, which is bad enough, by the way. Don't take money from shady billionaires. Crazy, I know. But it turns out it was actually a covert operation where Russia was sending me money for my commentary. Gee, why did they pick me? Why did they pick me? What is it about me that they thought was so great that helped spread their argument? So anyway, Tim Pool, in the wake of the second Trump assassination attempt, which didn't get very far, by the way, the Secret Service did their job. They nipped this thing in the bud. They shot at him. Dude ran, and they caught him later. This guy didn't have Trump in line of sight. He didn't get a shot off. So everything, it went properly. Like, what was supposed to happen to stop a threat is exactly what happened. Okay. Tim Pool comes out, talks about this guy. And guys, not to pat myself on the back too hard, except that's exactly what I'm going to do. I told you what was going to happen in the fallout to this. I told you. People would focus on whatever part of his story backs their political narrative that they prefer. That's what they're going to focus on. So in other words, the neocons, like the Ben Shapiro types, they're going to bring up, oh my goodness, he was for the Iran deal, and he turned on Trump after Trump pulled out of the Iran deal. And he wrote something to Iran that was like, you have my permission to kill him, or something like that, right? So they're going to say, Iran, 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 Iran. Radicalized by Iran. Is he working with Iran? What's going on here? Kind of sketchy connections. Iran, Iran, Iran. And they want to do that because they want us to get us closer to war with Iran. They've always wanted this, right? So they're going to harp away on that. Then I told you, the fake anti-war types, what are they going to focus on? The Ukraine portion. Because he was big time pro-Ukraine, anti-Russia, thought it was a battle between pure good and pure evil, right? And the fake anti-war types are going to do Ukraine, 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 Ukraine. Well, not only does Tim Pool do that, he takes it one step further. Listen to this.
But I have to question. We have to pursue this. They will not do it. They will not do it. There's a very real question. Is there some kind of Ukrainian involvement? Look, this guy, he's a grunt. He is an ideological wingnut. He's the suspect in this case. Okay, I want to make sure that's clear. Everybody's reporting his picture, his name, and I want to make sure it's clear. These are allegations, and he's a suspect. Maybe it was somebody else, who knows? Should this be the man, then I think it is completely reasonable to investigate Ukrainian direction, Ukrainian interest direction, or involvement.
So he's saying maybe he's like a spy or an assassin for Ukraine. Maybe Ukraine directed this guy. Maybe he was on a mission from Ukraine. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Tim, do you realize how fucking stupid that sounds? Do you realize how stupid that sounds?
He probably doesn't, Tim Pool. And I mean, I know that Kyle Kulinski knows this already, but Tim Pool was the guy who was taking $100,000 per video, $400,000 a month to do 4 videos and not asking any questions about where the money came from. So yeah, I think Tim Pool really is that stupid.
Tim, Ukraine is our ally. We've sent them billions and billions of dollars. Why would they want to attack Donald Trump? In fact, Zelensky's gone out of his way to be kind to Donald Trump. Trump has even said that Zelensky's gone out of his way to be kind to him. Why? Because he wants to hedge his bets. He doesn't know who's going to win this next election. He has no idea who's going to win this next election. So he's hedging his bets to say, I got to be on good terms with Trump. I got to be on good terms with Biden and Kamala. And therefore, whoever gets in, they will keep funding us, right? The other thing is, this notion that Trump was like massively anti-Ukraine and pro-Russia is total bullshit. Trump axed a pipeline that was supposed to go to Russia. He helped send money and weapons to Ukraine. He helped build up NATO right on Russia's border. It's just total narrative BS that, oh, he was weak or soft with Ukraine and he was very in the pocket of Russia or whatever. That's all nonsense, right? There would be zero reason why Ukraine would want to assassinate Donald Trump. Zero reason. In fact, Trump has said as part of his, I'm going to make a deal in a day, he's come out and explained what that meant further. And basically like, okay, so if we don't get a deal, I'm going to send even more money and even more weapons to Ukraine so that they can crush Russia.
And Kyle Kulinski is exactly right. There would be no incentive for Zelensky to try to assassinate Trump because, as he said, I mean, we're looking at a 50-50 election. Hopefully Kamala Harris is able to win, but you know, it's looking like 2020 and 2016, which were also close elections. So Zelensky's big concern is just to continue to be able to receive funding so they can fight against Russia. So it honestly probably doesn't matter to him who is in there as long as they're going to continue to help Ukraine.
Right? This is what he said. When asked to elaborate further on, I'll have a deal in a day, I'll have a deal in a day. Basically, he's saying, if they don't accept whatever terms I throw out there, then I'm going to go over the top and fund Ukraine even more money, more weapons, so that they can win. This is what he said, right? So there would be zero reason for Ukraine to want to take out Donald Trump. It's the exact opposite. They're courting Donald Trump. Just like they're courting the Democrats, they're courting the Republicans. There's a consensus in Washington. I don't know if you noticed, there's a pro-Ukraine consensus. And also, let's just be clear, him saying, oh, we need to investigate whether or not, this is all totally made up. Yeah, the guy was massively pro-Ukraine. He was also massively pro-Taiwan. He was also massively anti-homeless. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? I told you, the narrative humpers are going to narrative hump.
And like Kyle Kulinski is saying here, they also, the people like Tim Pool, they have to have an enemy at all times. They've picked Ukraine as an enemy, which is strange when Russia has been the United States' enemy for so long. But Tim Pool and these others have picked Ukraine as an enemy. Probably a lot of that was aided by the fact that they were receiving $400,000 to do a month to do videos saying that Ukraine is our biggest enemy. And so they're just going to continue to lean into that because they can't now say, oh, yeah, you know what? I just said this because of the money that I received from Russia. So I was wrong. Ukraine isn't really so bad. No, they're going to continue to pound on this idea of Ukraine being so horrible.
Depending on whose coverage you watch, they will omit so many key facts about this guy, right? They'll just harp away on the thing that suits their own narrative. That's what he's doing here. So what's the reality of this guy, Ryan Ruth? Well, I gave you all the facts that we had about it. Registered unaffiliated voter in North Carolina. That's what he was. Supported Trump in 2016. Went on to support Tulsi Gabbard in 2019. Also allegedly donated to Tom Steyer, however you say it, Andrew Yang. Later on, had publicly posted he would prefer to see a ticket of Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. Right? Like, the guy's all over the place. And he's got a rap sheet longer than a novel. Okay? Like, I mean, the list of crimes, we went through them the other day. He's committed a lot of crimes. This guy is not well. Total either severe bipolar or paranoid schizophrenia. This is what he is, right? So what's Occam's razor in this scenario? You guys tell me. What's Occam's razor as to how/why this happened, right? What is it? Is it he's a Ukrainian secret agent, which is something Tim Pool just pulled out of his ass a week after the story came out that he was taking money from Russia unwittingly? Is that what's likely? Or is it the guy's a nut? Gee, real hard one to figure out. But it's not as sexy to tell you that truth. And you can't narrative hump in that scenario now, can you? You can't go Ukraine, 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 right? Or you can't go Iran, Iran, Iran if you're a neocon. By the way, what are the Republicans more generally saying? lefty, 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 Democrat, 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 Democrat. Look, got a Biden-Harris bumper sticker on his truck. Again, they will totally omit the other facts about supporting Republicans too, because it doesn't suit the narrative. It doesn't suit the narrative. And that's what he's doing here. This should be in a textbook under the definition of narrative humper. That's what he is. Let me fit the narrative that, he said what did he say a few weeks ago or a few months ago? It was like, Ukraine is the enemy of the world. Ukraine is our number one enemy. He said something to that effect. And would you look at that? He was unwittingly taking money from Russia. And again, this is just totally made up. By the way, what we do know vis-a-vis Ukraine, yes, he was massively pro-Ukraine. He went to Ukraine and tried to partake in the fighting. And the Ukrainians were like, this guy's fucked up. So that's what we know publicly. But instead, maybe he's acting at the direction of the Ukrainian government. Please. Yeah, the country that comes hat in hand begging us for more money, no matter who's in office, that's what they're going to try to assassinate one of the two people they've been sucking up to relentlessly, trying to get in their good graces. I mean, it's just dumb political analysis.
And yeah, what Kyle Kulinski says here, I believe is correct. Tim Pool is just going to continue with this narrative because he can't switch now. After all this money that he was paid and then this scandal comes out, the people who are still going to listen to him, whatever, who knows how many viewers and followers and fans he's lost. But if he just turns now and says, oh yeah, Ukraine's not so bad, then he's just admitting that he just said this for the money, and he would lose credibility with those people who watch him, who, he wouldn't have any credibility with any normal people, but he's making a lot of money spewing this stuff to rubes and, probably teenage boys who believe all of this. But Kyle Kulinski is right that it makes absolutely no sense, but it doesn't have to make sense. All these right-wing conspiracy theories, none of them make sense, but that doesn't matter. Whatever percentage of the populace is going to believe it, and they're going to make a lot of money, they're going to allow people like Tim Pool to make a lot of money spewing these conspiracy theorists. So Kyle Kulinski is right about that. But what do you think? Do you agree with Kyle Kulinski that, as he calls it, narrative humping, that Tim Pool and these other guys are going to just continue to do this because they can't stop now? Or do you agree with Tim Pool? Was there some kind of conspiracy here with this alleged assassin? It doesn't seem likely, but it doesn't have to make sense. Make sure to leave your comments, whether it's about Kyle Kulinski, Tim Pool, any of these other figures, or whatever you want to comment on. And make sure to give me a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I'm now over 10,000, over 11,000 subscribers now. The channel keeps growing. It's growing quickly. And your likes and subscribes enable that to happen. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.